Speaking of dogs.
Yeah.
People have often used that word to describe people who have the attitude of Chris Paul.
Oh, I've been waiting for this.
I listened to him yesterday. I try to be open-minded, okay? I try to be. I'm not saying I am. I try to be. And well documented that I am a Warrior fan, and a Warrior fan by definition is not a Chris Paul fan. And so you were in on this right away. You were thumbs up on the idea. Steiny was thumbs up on the idea. And when you were both thumbs up on the idea before it even happened, I was like, I knew I didn't trust those guys. So then it happened, and I think the two of you had a head start in terms of wrapping your head around it because you were already there. I have not been able to wrap my head around it. And then I moved a little bit of a way down the track where I'm like, okay, all right, okay, Warriors, you're all telling me that you're very smart, good basketball players. You look a little old to me, but okay, I'll bite. Let's see if this old group can get together and do it. And then certain things have tripped me up along the way. One of them was the availability of Drew Holiday, where I was immediately like, yep, get him out of here. See you later. Bring me Drew Holiday. And the other one was, you coaching? I wasn't offended by it, but I thought it sent a message that was not what the Warriors needed. And I think plenty of people within the team agree with me. But yesterday was media day, Dibs. And a few things were said. Many were asked. Chris handled them head up, shoulders up, talked to people respectfully, playfully.
Eye contact?
Eye contact.
Ooh.
Listen to this one.
I mean, it's been a lot. It's been a lot. Even with Dre, we been the craziest competitors against each other for a long time. And there's a lot of things that said here and there. I tend to deal with things a lot more privately. So we talked, went to lunch, had a great conversation, all these different things, but also with all the different guys, Steph, Clay. I mean, I told you Clay and guarded me for years. We was playing pickup the other day, and he guarded me, and I looked at I said, we don't do this no more, And so it's funny, man. Life is crazy. Willie Green, who's like a brother to me, actually became an assistant coach years ago here, and it kind of changed the dynamics of our relationship for a little while. You know what I mean? But it's funny how life happens. But everyone here, all the guys, Steve, everybody has been great. We all trying to build.
See what he did there? Like, how would you describe what you just heard?
That was awesome. He brought, he invoked the name of a beloved former assistant coach and told us something that we didn't know. I didn't know about Chris Paul, that he and Willie Green were that close. He's like a brother to me. And Willie Green, when he coached here, that kind of changed our relationship a little bit, Chris Paul says. And it's like, wow, that's awesome that, you have that awareness and that level of humility to be able to get over everything and still come here. And I also liked what he said about Steph. He's like, when Steph came out and picked me up full court, we're not doing that anymore. Okay, we're not doing that anymore. I'm sick of that. You've been doing that for the past 10 years. So I liked it. Really, really self-effacing there and humble.
Vulnerable. Transparent. He let us in.
Yeah, he shared with us things that we didn't know about him.
He let us in. And when he first arrived and the media assembles and goes, like, again, you can ask it however Kendra asked it, just as an example. I don't want to harp on that back and forth anymore, but the Warrior media assembles, and I think that, we show up with a big measure of ego, too. This is Warrior basketball. This has been highly, highly successful. There are big names, big stars, big success. And so if there had been more of a, sort of acknowledgement of that in the conversation of look, yes, I'm Chris Paul, but this is the Warriors, and this is amazing, and we're going to see how this looks and how it works, and just sort of it, as opposed to what felt in that moment to some as brick wall. You coaching? I'm not letting you in here. That's the coach's decision. So I don't even want that topic in front of me. Was it a little quick? Does he not want it? I don't know. Maybe. I'm not inside. But that, to me, is what I look for. I'm not saying you need to tell us all your secrets. You can be Andrew Wiggins and you can do your impersonation and you can never speak. And that's fine. Do you want to do your Andrew real quick?
I'll save it for the regular season.
All right,
You're on
fine.
a nice little roll.
Right? But like, you can let us into whatever level you want to, but an acknowledgement basically of, yes, I'm here, but so are you. I get that you're here, Steph. And Clay, you're here. Draymond, you're here. Steve, you're here. Hey, fans, you're here. We're all here. And there was, I thought, a branch that was sent out yesterday. Could it be fake? Absolutely.
Sure.
Raymond Ritter is amazing at his job, right? Because there was also this.
I actually had an opportunity in '08 to come off the bench for the Olympic team. You know what I mean? And that went pretty well. And I think anybody who knows me knows that I'm all about winning. You know what I mean? Whatever I can do to help our team win. So I know coaching us, we're going to talk about it and see what it looks like. We've been hooping all summer, and I think, for the season, it's going to be whatever to help our team win. And I think I've at least tried to show or proven that my entire career. So
it's just media day, okay?
I like the notion of that. I had an opportunity to come off the bench in '08. Let me see. 15 years ago, you were 23, and you're playing alongside the likes of Kobe Bryant and Jason Kidd.
Right.
You had the opportunity to come off the bench. No,
You were
number
told.
3, you're coming off the bench.
Exactly.
13.
But you know what he showed yesterday? Above all else, awareness. And I'm a big, big fan of that. And so whether he's just doing the media the way some players do or wherever all of that came from, yesterday for me was an opportunity to see a little bit of a different side of Chris.
Oh.
The season's about to start. Drew Holiday has been traded. Maybe I'm the last one to the party, and Chris doesn't give a rip about this from me anyway, but I'm still going to say it out loud for the benefit of you, me, and our audience. I hereby, on October 3rd, 2023, I am ready to accept Chris Paul. I am ready to welcome Chris Paul into the Warriors family.
Can you go one step further?
I don't know. What are you asking me to do?
Just simply say, I accept him. Not that you're ready to. Just say that you accept him.
I accept Chris Paul.
Was that so hard?
No.
No, it was so hard.
No, the only
because
reason-
it's been.
No, but I didn't feel it till now. It has. I'm not going to say anything.
Well, maybe
that's-
you're faking it.
Well, but I'm not.
Well, I mean, Chris
All I
Paul,
could-
you're basically saying that he could be faking it.
Could be. I don't know. I've never met the man. But all I can do, it has to be authentic.
Okay.
It has to be authentic.
I want you to go all the way there, and I'm glad you did.
I was not feeling this.
And now you are.
Well, I don't even
Feeling you.
I don't know
Vic
if
the
I'm
Brick.
feeling it, but I'm there. Let's play ball.
You accept Chris Paul.
Absolutely.
When Chris Paul comes into the game for the first time, because he's not starting apparently, although maybe he is now.
Probably is now.
And you're there, whenever you're there, and Chris Paul does a good thing for your team, you'll applaud.
I'll cheer. I'm not going to boo him.
No, but you will give him every bit of Mark Willard energy that you would give to Moses Moody, Kevon Looney.
Well,
Steph Curry.
Moody and Looney do yoga.
They do.
So they get a little extra.
But if you're going to accept him, you got to fully accept him now. You can't pick favorites among your dubs, much like with your children.
Well, yes, you can. Yes, you can.
But it doesn't mean you're right, because when Draymond when Draymond Green does good things, I cheer him. But it's not the same level of cheerhood.
Well, and this was famous at Oracle, obviously, that like a Steph three-pointer sounded different than other threes.
Sure.
Right? There's a louder cheer there. So, yeah, I reserve the right to pick favorites.
Okay. Just don't hold back because it's Chris Paul.
When the Warriors are in the playoffs this year, whoever has the ball in their hands and it leaves their hand toward the hoop, I would like it to go in with equal desire.
Even if it's number 3.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
It's big of you. I'm glad you were able to make this capitulation sensation, because you have now come on board.
Not that anybody was waiting for it.
No one's waiting for it, but it happens to everyone at different times. Did you hear what Draymond Green said about Chris Paul yesterday at Media Day? He basically called him an a-hole. And,
they both are.
Right, but it was kind of funny when Draymond was up at the platform answering questions, and he's like, he's boop. And it's like,
I think we got it. Here's Dre. Here's Dre yesterday.
if you've ever watched Chris compete, he's kind of an you may say the same thing about me, and that's okay. But he's also one of the most competitive guys that, I've played against over my 11 years in this league. I'm also an extremely competitive guy, and I'm not backing down from anyone. He's not backing down from anyone. That will bring some clashes, and it has brought plenty of them. When you look at the last 7, 8 years in the NBA, Chris Paul is right at the center of all of it. And guess what? So are we, and we weren't on teams.
I cannot wait.
It's a great quote.
It's a wonderful quote, and Draymond is 100% correct in terms of Chris Paul and how Chris sees him and how he sees Chris, and neither one of them backs down from anybody.
Well,
and I wonder what happens when there's an internal clash.
Right, that's like I think you're right, and he's right.
Yeah.
And those two guys do get toward the end. Look, they're great players. I don't know.
Hall of Famers.
Nobody thought otherwise. But, yeah, what happens if it does bring clashes on the court between the two of them? I have, in fact, no doubt that it will.
Right.
No team ever has not had that happen. So it will. And how do they get through it? Because they are maybe the two most stubborn players in the entire league.
Right. So you have a situation where Chris Paul does not rotate appropriately on defense, and you give up a bucket, and Kerr's got to call timeout, and Draymond goes into one of his classic, I'm going to let you know what you didn't do correctly in the moment tirades, and Chris Paul's not going to be the kind of player, and God bless Steph and Clay, who have been on the receiving end of a number of these, and they water off a duck's back. You very rarely see them clap back because they know what it is. It's just a moment. It'll pass. Draymond wants to win, and you just get over it and you deal with it. But I wonder how Chris Paul reacts in that same moment, or if it goes the other way where Draymond maybe throws the ball away when Chris Paul is just standing there wide open, and he says, come on, Draymond, find me with that pass. I wonder what the back and forth is going to be like, because it's going to happen.
I'll give the Warriors this. We've spent a lot of time today after being in the dugout with Farhan. We spent a lot of time talking about the internal workings of a professional team. And obviously the Giants have struggled a lot with that in the last couple of years. The Golden State Warriors, and this goes from top to bottom, okay? They have effectively, in the last 6 months, even less, they have effectively reworked themselves out of what was a real pickle. And they've done it in a way that was at times controversial, at times surprising, at times frustrating. And they arrive here in October, and I'm amazed that largely the fan base is like, okay.
Lock in, Dub Nation.
We can accept all of this.
It's unprecedented. Think about the timeline.
It takes a lot of work, yeah.
Let's see. Player A punches player B in the face, and it basically costs us our season in some way, shape, or form. Okay. How do you fix it? Well, popular general manager, we'll let him go. Young star player whom we wanted to give hundreds of millions of dollars, we're trading him. Number one enemy veteran player who may be forced into a role he doesn't want, got to acquire him. What else can we do? I mean, Mark, it's an unprecedented blueprint, yet here we are, and it's hands in the middle. I cannot wait for this thing to start in 3 weeks.
And you'll never hear anyone right now be like, who's running this clown show?
Right?
No, the opposite is true, in fact. We have arrived at a spot where most Warrior fans I talk to are like, I can't wait to see this.
Right.
Now,
and it's not, I can't wait to see how bad this is. It's, I can't wait to see how fun this is going to be.
Like, there is legit optimism.
And I forgot to add in the Draymond Green extension as, one of the inexplicable, let's give him 4 years.
Look, there's plenty of legit questions to ask. I think that I think that they're on the old side, obviously, with their key players. Is Kuminga going to take a big step forward? I don't think that they're a real title contender unless he does, but he might. I mean, there are questions like there are with almost every team. So those are there, and those are legitimate. But by the same token, I do think that a lot of fans right now look at this and they're like, okay, I'm in. I'm excited. Let's see this thing hum and take it even further. I've heard respected NBA analysts who are like, yo, That's still Chris Paul. It may not be all of him, but that is still Chris Paul. Wait till you see what that does for this entire group. And I'm at minimum in a spot where I'm like, I'm curious. This is absolutely elite level, like, put the fire out type behavior for a team. Because as you just detailed, what they've been through over the last calendar year.
It's crazy.
To arrive at this point with your replacement player being one of the most hated in the history of this organization and have the fan base sound like it currently sounds?
Raymond Ritter, am I right?
I mean, restaurant quality.
Just the VP of communications. And
it's not just him.
Of course not.
I mean, yes, he's the best, and we know that.
But when it comes to overall fan optics, it's very difficult to make what they've done look as good as we all think that it looks. And it helps to have 4 titles and the chef and Steve Kerr and all the rest of the positives that are here. But what you did that could still blow up in your face, you've been able to polish it up pretty nice.